The following podcast contains strong language and ridiculous cartoon scenarios conjured up by two self-proclaimed comedy wizards. Between you and me, they're more like Saturday morning court jesters fueled by sugary cereal. But either way, the opinions expressed and presented are mere musings, so please humor their well-intentioned hijinks with a laugh and not by taking anything they say seriously. Unless, of course, you want to pay them to say something else. Could always use a new pair of shoes.
Hey everybody, welcome to ReviewParty.com. I'm Brent.
I'm Matt.
This is ReviewParty.com, bro. It's a podcast on the internet. We got reviews on it, and then we say some comedy afterwards. That pretty much sums it up, doesn't it?
That's all it is in a cracker.
That's all there ever was, and all there ever will be. But you said a word that is in a review I have, so I think
Really?
we just have to segue right into this review.
That's true. The word wasn't even it didn't even make sense in the context that I said it. I was just being goofy, but here we go. Here we go.
Just kind of a goofy moment, naturally segueing into this first review from Amazon.com for the Sandwich Cracker Club and Cheddar 8-cracker snack pack, 12 in a box. It's a classic Keebler Club and Cheddar sandwich crackers,
Ooh.
allegedly made with real cheddar cheese. I have a series of few reviews from this one, actually, because I think they all together sort of tell the full story of this cracker situation. I won't do them in any particular order, just the ones how I copy-pasted it. This first one is a review from Firefighter 1. They title it, Nice Quick Snack for On-the-Go Days. They write, not really the best choice health-wise, but will be good for a quick snack. Small sacrifice. I bought 3 boxes within the last month and would buy more possibly if the price goes down or they consider a bigger, bulkier savings bargain.
Oh.
3 stars.
My guy, no. That's too much. This is just you? This is just you eating this many?
Just one firefighter.
Oh, no. I understand you're a hardworking individual. Putting out fires, as it were. But you're gonna start a fire in your system if you just eat these things.
Some pillars of salt will not only appear, lining stalactites and stalagmites of salt will be inside your stomach.
Get that leaky gut. You don't want that.
With the gut leak, but they'll also be on fire.
You know, acid reflux, you can't use a fire extinguisher on that heat.
I mean, these are cheese and crackers. That might be a good go-to.
Oh,
if you have some acid
shelf-stable
reflux.
cheese that doesn't expire for 3.5 years. I don't know.
Absolutely. That just soaks up the heartburn. That's how it works. It's a good soaking food. That's what you got to think of. You got to chew it up in your mouth, and it becomes a good it's
like a putty that you use to fill all the gaps.
Sort of an edible putty, and you just want to swallow it like a tube that lines your insides, and it'll just pick up all the heartburn as it goes along.
That's science.
Naturally. So kind of unhealthy, but then you have more salt, I guess. So it's really just a temporary salve. But for context, me, a big man, not a particularly snack enjoyer. I'm more of a big meal enjoyer, but I do have a snack every now and then. I go through one of these boxes. I think it's the same size that I get at the store. 12 in a box? Yeah, it must be. I go through one of those in like a month, dude. He's going through 3 in the same amount of time.
And he's thinking about getting more.
He thinks he wants a bigger, bulkier savings option, brother.
I mean, don't we all, but...
Don't we all?
There's some things that we can't have, and there are reasons.
Which brings me to Kenneth C. Rogers. Not Kenny. I think he's trying real hard to distance himself from that.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
They title their review, A Handy Size Snack. They write, It is a tasty snack that satisfies an urge for something to munch while reading an engaging story. 4 stars.
No. I'm
thinking this guy's got a chip on his shoulder because of his unfortunate name that he's received from his parents.
Oh?
Mr. and Mrs. Rogers decide to name their kid Kenneth, not knowing, not considering the guy who sings the songs and makes the chicken. And so I think he's trying really hard to go into spaces where
he's going to be the only Kenny Rogers?
Where Kenny Rogers knowers, people who hear Kenny Rogers, the simple folk who would hear Kenny Rogers in their ear and think, oh, chicken country music, man.
Uh-huh.
Such as the people buying bulk sandwich crackers, white-blooded, what do you say, cold-blooded?
Red-blooded?
Red-blooded Americans.
Yeah,
Americans with blood are buying these crackers. And he needs to spread the word that he's not just some chicken-eating, country-singing Kenneth Rogers. He reads engaging stories while having a bit of a nibble on a snack or two.
He's got to satisfy the urge,
His brain is absorbing so much information that urges are coming forth. You know what I mean?
You got to put that fire out. You can't ask your firefighter. He doesn't know how to fix that fire. Only a snack cracker can do it.
That makes me think that guy's going through crackers so much because he's using them to fight the fires.
I think that would be counterintuitive. The oils and whatnot have every calorie burned in a fire is the same calorie that could be burned inside your body.
Definitely.
That's energy. That's energy, folks. But the pages, your greasy little fingers are getting all over the pages. Ugh, it hurts me. I love books. Don't get your greasy
That's true.
cracker fingers on those pages.
Yeah, these are not the most ungreasy saltine crackers you ever put your little mitts on, that's for sure.
If it's a magazine, that's fine. The pages are glossy. They're not very absorbent. But if you've got your book, that regular pulp that they use in that paper.
The pulp.
That's some pulpy paper. Just soaks it right up.
Pulpy paper soaks it right up. Only $19.99 coming to a store near you. That brings me to this last review by Joe Peep. They title it, Tasted Fresh, ellipses.
Uh-oh.
You're right. Couldn't taste the cheese too well. These should have been more cheese. 4 stars.
They're at a crossroads or something. As am I.
What are the crossroads that they lie at? Where do their eyes gaze back and forth?
This is the intersection of cracker and cheese.
Okay.
And they expect at the intersection of cracker and cheese to be able to equally see, to peer down the Cracker Boulevard and the Cheese Highway in equal parts.
Sure.
But all they can see, maybe there's a mountain or a chasm or a giant billboard or something. All they can see is Cracker Lane, north and south. I don't know how they rate that 4 stars, to be perfectly honest.
Well, it did taste fresh. It's wildly fresh, impressive for something in a plastic pack such as this to come out and taste, quote, fresh. Maybe it tastes fresh in the Subway sense.
And that it doesn't taste toxic.
I guess it tastes fresh for something that isn't food. As fresh as non-food can taste.
Uh-huh.
There should have been more cheese. See, am I too pioneering to think if I wanted a cheesier sandwich, I would just sort of Oreo technique?
Oh.
Double deck these sons of guns?
You could try that, yeah. I'm thinking that cheese gets like weird and
like tacky,
moist, powdery. Yeah, it's strange cheese and that stuff.
Or just get yourself, get this, your own crackers and real club cheese and make your own sandwiches with as much cheese as you want.
I was afraid you were going to say a can of Cheese Whiz because you're already, 1 foot's in the grave. I really like
Cheese Whiz too. I guess cheese would be much closer to this quote unquote cheddar than the, But even the club crackers with a little cheese whiz, club crackers with a little actual cheddar, either way, you are in total cheese amount control, right?
Yeah, you're blasting down cheese highway.
Yeah, these you don't buy these for cheese control. You buy these for convenience, which our other two reviewers did touch on.
It's true. That is true.
I think they know going in that the cheese amount was just out of their control.
You gotta accept life for what it is sometimes.
Do you know the name of the Keebler elf, the main guy, the head honcho?
Is it like Elmer or something?
Elmer?
Are you gonna do a Google on that?
I could. Main Keebler elf name? Oh, it's making me wait.
Ernie's.
That motherfucker's name is
So
Ernie.
close.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I could say, hey, this needs more cheese while looking at Ernie's face. He looks so earnest.
Get Ernie on the phone and
They call
Ernie's
him Ernie
Ernest.
bro. He's got a little trademark by his toes, too, bro. They gotta know, hey, this Ernest face is trademarked.
For an elf, I'm sure it's a perfect amount of cheese.
Right. I mean, this
like a pizza.
one of these sandwiches is, the size of a pizza to this man. It's really like two pieces on top of each other. I'll show you exactly the image I'm looking at. He's even holding one. It looks browned up like a little pizza.
Yeah, man, he's got a pizza.
I made you this pizza. I know you're big, so we put a bunch of them in a package.
Oh, Ernie.
He's just trying to help. I can never say, hey, I need a little more cheese on this buckaroo to that man's face. He might cry. He might
go in his tree and never come out again.
Yeah, and I couldn't put that on him. That would be on me. Did you have a review?
Yeah. I'm going to segue into us feeling bad for Ernie if we ever did him wrong. Brings me to this Epica stainless steel compost bin, 1.3 gallon, includes charcoal filter review from Amazon. It is a compost bin, if you're familiar with the concept.
Yep, you put your garbage in there and it turns into something you can put food from.
It's a stainless steel bucket with a lid.
There's some charcoal in there too.
It's got a filter, so hopefully the stinky stink doesn't get out. Because it's got your eggshells and your rotten peach pits and all that fun stuff. Your mud. This is a review from Micah H. And while maybe I'll let the cat out of the bag a little bit, how it seems like it's a meme review almost. Micah has 2 other reviews to his name, and they are very, very normal.
Okay. Though this may seem tongue-in-cheek, there's evidence that it may not be.
May not be, or just he was particularly inspired on this one occasion.
Sure.
Micah titles his review, Charcoal filter masks well the stench of decomposing produce and rotten dreams. And Micah writes, I bought this countertop compost bin for my girlfriend as her old one had started leaking. Delivery was prompt, and I took it over to her place one beautiful Sunday afternoon in the spring. We sat on the veranda and sipped Chardonnay in what I then incorrectly interpreted as a comfortable silence. After a while, I mentioned that I had a small surprise for her and pulled the compost bin out of the box. It was elegant in its simplicity. The stainless steel finish shone in the sun, and the lid was cocked rakishly to one side as if to say, hello. She slapped the bin from my hands and shouted that she didn't want this new compost bin. She wanted the compost bin that she'd had for years prior.
What?
The one that was spontaneous and made her feel alive. The one that she actually loved. I was heartbroken as my hopes and dreams of our life together shattered and fell around me. Gone were the thoughts of using the bin as an impromptu ice bucket for the champagne we would share on the night of our engagement. As, too, were the thoughts of our future children placing orange rinds and banana peels in this bin. Only to be a mere fantasy, never to see the light of day. I clumsily used my foot to sweep the remains of my heart and soul into a pile, and then I picked them up with numb fingers and placed them in the compost bin. Wow, for being unobtrusive and small, its 1.3 gallon capacity sure can hold a lot. The lid fits snugly on top and has remained there to this day. Months later, The bin sits on the countertop of my one-room studio apartment. One cannot tell what the contents that rot inside. There is no trace or scent of the putrid remains of my life, my hope, my heart that lay inside. 4 out of 5 stars because the handle could be just a bit sturdier. Would definitely buy again. 4 stars.
See, I would be using... Maybe this is the next step. This is the sequel, the epilogue that I hope for Michael. The pieces of himself that he's composting can grow into something beautiful.
That's the whole point of composting, right?
Right. He's scared to open it, but what if he opens it and finds that real good poo-poo dirt, dude?
Yeah. This is ripe for something to grow in again.
Exactly, dude. I think without knowing, Michael set himself up very optimistically, you know, through the symbology of this beautiful compost trash can.
He doesn't know it, but he is putting the work in.
He's putting it in.
Very low effort work.
Literally into the trash can and then close the charcoal lid. And it just feels like maybe it's a bit of either a witch's spell. You need 4 slivers of a man's broken heart added to orange rinds and banana peels.
Mm-hmm.
Or a bit of an RPG quest.
Oh, sure.
You know,
Yeah.
You got to make this Minecraft recipe for newfound manhood.
You got to get
you got to put your heart in some poop for 3 days.
1 virgin rose petal to burn through the heart of your newfound love.
Right. And then maybe your 1-bedroom studio apartment becomes a bungalow, right?
Hey.
It's all about perspective.
Bungalow ain't bad.
A bungalow ain't bad, especially if you got a nice poo-poo trash can hidden in the middle of it.
It sounds like this thing could last a while.
Right. This could be his new buddy, you know?
Draw a little face on there, yeah.
This thing could be his Wilson.
Compost!
There's a pivotal scene where Michael reveals that he thinks compost's handle could be a little sturdier.
He comes home from work and compost isn't there. I didn't mean it. I accept you the way you are.
Come to find that someone else is putting their eggshells inside of compost.
Oh no. Hope's dreams dashed again.
And you know what's great about compost and this sort of renewal theme, endless sequels, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We're the real money making machine. Call us Hollywood. Speaking of Hollywood and speaking of buddies, I have a review from Amazon for the movie Buddy from 1997. It's an eccentric 1920 socialite raises a baby gorilla as her own child, if you'll remember. This is the movie that used that George of the Jungle gorilla suit tech.
Okay.
You remember? I'm sure that it's somewhere buried in your memory are trailers for this weird monkey movie.
Yeah, I think I'm already picturing it.
Yeah, it's the very uncanny valley gorillas, where the gorillas are just... the suit's too good. Their expressions are like too real and expressed by the actor inside. Where it kind of works for George of the Jungle in a cartoony way, but this one is a little weird looking. Anyway, don't take my word for it. Take Abby Paulson's word for it. She titles her review, Buddy the Gorilla and Keeping Him Curious. She writes, love it when Maggie comes and lets herself out, then letting Joe out of his cage, then sneaks out to grab the keys later and let Buddy out. 5 stars.
Well, I feel like I've seen it.
Yeah, it's both... I feel like I know everything that happened and nothing that happened at the same time from this review. There's characters. There's names. There's prison cages, you know.
Yeah, big plot points.
These are very metaphorical. I imagine
metaphorical, allegorical, all
lyrical,
popsicle,
orange door hinge.
But you read a review. I guess not. It's not always. It's not exclusively to help other people in making an informed purchase decision.
Sometimes it's for you.
This one is just for them.
Just for Abby.
I love the Bobo was. I don't even remember the names. Buddy.
So, just to recap, just so you can kind of break it down in your head. Now that you know
let me schematic this.
Yeah, so she loves it. That's sort of how this is all framed. Her favorite scene, maybe, is when Maggie comes and lets herself out. So Maggie is coming from somewhere and letting herself out of something. Just maybe sort of in a non-literal fashion, right? She's letting herself out. She's going crazy. And then she lets Joe out of her cage. Very classic gorilla name, I feel like.
Yep.
Then sneaks out. So I don't know if this is Maggie or Joe are sneaking out. And gets keys later. And let Buddy out. Period.
Everybody's getting out. It's
a lot of out. There's keys. There's outings. There's gorillas.
It does take away a bit of the tension of the movie. I'm going to say that.
Yeah, you think you kind of know. You feel like you know everything that happens now.
Yeah. No more surprises. No, Maggie out, Joe out, Buddy out.
Sure.
If I see them behind a caged wall, I'm not worried because I know out. Abby
if
told
you
me
see
so.
them in, you know the end result of that eventually will be out.
Just like Pooh Bear said, what goes up must come down. Same thing applies to Buddy. What goes in must go out.
Right. You know, at the end of the day, it really takes you out of your suspension of disbelief, knowing that guy goes in the monkey suit, and then the actor is going to go out of the monkey suit when he's done shooting.
I would hope so.
You don't think it's method actor style how Viggo Mortensen... He would walk around with his sword whenever he was Aragorn. He would always keep it by him. You don't think the Buddy, the gorilla actor, just stays in the suit after hours?
Be a little sweaty.
It would be Stink. Stink would be there needs some charcoal lining for sure. I mean, Stink would be my primary worry if I felt I needed to stay in a gorilla suit for some sort of method acting.
Maybe that helps your co-stars, though, act believably against a big stinky ape.
Right. They just see you as the ape. You can be out of character ape and in character ape, but it would still help them just touch you, feel you as an ape. Physically, emotionally. Not sensually, but with scent. This is PG-13.
Well, maybe sensually then.
Maybe there's
some taboo
light
territory,
sensuality.
Though. You can be curious.
In the 1920s, the Roaring 20s. You tell me people weren't banging monkeys in the 1920s?
You're allowed to be curious. You're not allowed to act on those curiosities.
Sure.
Don't explore them too much, yeah?
Buddy looks like he has a lot of monkey friends. Or a lot of animal friends. Mm-hmm. Smaller monkeys, dogs, some sort of chicken. So, he loves everybody.
All right.
This is enough monkeying around here.
Let's take a monkey break.
We gotta take a monkey break.
Hey everybody, thank you for listening to our lovely little podcast. If you'd like to go above and beyond in supporting our show, or have the most fabulous conversation starter since sliced bread, go to reviewparty.com. Click on shop and explore some fabulous t-shirt designs.
where's your favorite place to wear a t-shirt?
On my body.
Mine is at the store.
That is a good place to wear a t-shirt. ReviewBuddy.com. Click shop.
Why stop there?
Don't stop now.
Don't stop me now, because I'm buying a t-shirt. I'm buying a shirt.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second half of the episode, and welcome to From the Pages of Peterman.
Let's go. Ask and you shall receive.
Yeah, man,
dude.
you mentioned it, and I'm like, dang. Just as I said, I haven't received one of those catalogs. Maybe they realize I haven't ordered anything in like 2 years. They just, let's cut our losses with this kid. Luckily, they have a website. It's not as convenient to, like, I can't flip the pages and find good descriptions as easily, but they're all still there. So if you don't know, the J. Peterman magazine, didn't you watch Seinfeld? If you haven't, stop the episode right now and go watch all of the seasons.
Watching Seinfeld sort of a prerequisite to any given episode of this podcast.
If you don't want to do that, then fine. What you need to know is that the descriptions for these products on J. Peterman clothing items, etc., are almost like the most finely crafted reviews ever written. They're artsy.
Right.
They're descriptive.
Very, excessively highbrow reviews of a product.
So, without
5-star, usually, because they're trying to sell them.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Do they have reviews on here? I don't see them. Interesting.
They don't. They got it covered.
Yeah, they're like, we're not gonna let it tarnish your paltry words, tarnish our page. Without further ado, this is the Velvet Tuxedo Jacket.
Ooh, wow! You're starting off with a real. We're getting fancy.
Mm-hmm. Details: the man in the velvet tuxedo. By day, a banker, a lawyer, hedge fund manager, architect, surgeon, C-suite mover and shaker. By night, in this, you can be anyone. The dashing spy buying into a high-stakes poker game to entrap his mark. The good dancer, good joke teller. The producer graciously accepting an award at Cannes for groundbreaking work. Poet, pilot, all-around high flyer. No need to choose just one. Velvet tuxedo jacket, 100% cotton velvet tuxedo jacket with contrast satin lapel. The deep wine color infuses this velvet tuxedo jacket with extra personality without overwhelming.
They said you could be anything, but you know what they didn't mention?
What's that?
Is a homeless guy, a bum, a vagrant. I think you could be really a special type of vagrant.
Oh yeah, sort of the king of the bums.
Look at this find I got, boys.
Hey, Marty, is that velvet? Yeah, with satin lapel.
I can almost drink from my own tuxedo. There's suck marks all over so he can drink the wine color out.
No. Back up, fellas. Emmett.
And he's got a silk knapsack on a stick for his possessions.
A polished wooden stick.
Whittled to perfection by the finest blind bums of Staten Island.
This is the Dapper Dan bum.
Well, give me another.
Okay, this is the LC Vintage Black Belt Blouse. Vintage. In this, you may find yourself at your favorite speakeasy, positioning yourself quite intentionally below the rafter-hung spotlight, the glow setting off the contour of your elegant jawline and perfectly set eyes.
Oh.
The pleating detail along the peplum waistline of your blouse casts a glamorous silhouette. The camera is pointed up at you, but not too much, just enough to signify your position of power. You're not the villain, after all. Is this a romantic rendezvous? A secret encounter with a colleague to plot a rival's demise? Perhaps you are the villain. Or this is just a moment for you to be. I suggest the villain on a romantic rendezvous. Dream big, kid. Vintage black belt blouse, 100% silk crepe de chine, fit and flare blouse with an elegant and sheer Swiss dot fabric at your shoulders and sleeves. Wonderful with jeans and boots. Exceptional with pencil skirts.
I'm not sure if they're saying if they're trying to sell this to people who want chiseled jaws and eyes that aren't offset.
Mm-hmm.
Or only to people that have chiseled jaws and eyes that aren't offset and are proud of it.
Okay.
Do you think no offset eyes need apply? You think they're getting the rulers out to
yeah,
make sure
your eyes are set a little skewed.
No skew, you don't want
your
them too
eyes
far
are
apart
a little deep set. You're kind of a funky looking fella, aren't you?
You know how like crab fishermen have those they're just like metal rulers that you can just measure if the crab's big enough.
And if it's not, they just sort of toss it.
Right, they toss it back if it's too small. They got that for people's eyes when they try and buy this blouse.
No. Wrong. This is wrong. All wrong for you. Mm.
You can go back to the Gap, honey.
Oh, no. I don't think. I mean, obviously, this is a bit of a schmarmy company, but
yeah, they're portraying a bit of a power fantasy. Definitely a fantasy.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. Well, we got a bit more fantasy here. Here's the Barnstormer Moto Jacket.
Ooh.
The age of barnstorming. Fall. Sometime in the 1920s, or maybe the 30s. You look forward to it every year. Trick pilots fly low over town and drop flyers, and everyone in town converges in the selected field. At dangerously low altitudes, pilots execute spins, dives, loop-the-loops, and barrel rolls, your favorite. If it was a group act, you might be treated to a spectacle of wing walking or target shooting. Cue the gasps and the oohs and ahs. The pilot lands, steps out of the cockpit, waves to the spectators who naturally cheer wildly. This is the jacket he's wearing. Barnstormer Moto Jacket for doing the impossible things by land, sea, or air. Premium Italian cowhide, Bemberg lining, 6 unique exterior pockets. Unfailingly handsome.
I had to look this one up.
Oh, yeah?
Just because I was like, I was like, is this jacket as badass as the name makes it sound? I had to know for myself, and the first thing I noticed, and it made me wonder, is are they going to mention the excessive amount of pockets on this bad boy?
Yes.
And yes, they do. It is one of the specs when they list the specs at the end.
I mean, let's say you're up in a plane, you're flying around doing tricks. You gotta have a little snack or two.
You need a snack pocket.
You need a townhouse cracker in there.
A small liquor bottle pocket.
Absolutely. Extra set of gloves.
Extra set of gloves. You probably need some condoms because you're going to get so much tail.
Oh, yeah.
In this Barnstormer Moto Jacket.
For sure.
You need a snack pocket and you need a special jerky pocket too. Jerky, you got to keep that separate.
Different needs, for sure.
You need a hot protein surge. Ooh. Or do you just need something to chew on while you read a good book, while your brain expounds the universe?
Throw in a couple of smelling salts just in case, and hey.
All right, give me the next one.
I've got 2 more. This is the Kagaloglu Hamami Towel. Excuse me. Kagaloglu Hamami, the 4th pleasure. What? A sultan built Kagaloglu Hamami, which is a Turkish bathhouse. That probably becomes relevant or mentioned later in this description, but just so we know. A hammami is a Turkish bathhouse. Kagaloglu is a specific one. A sultan built Kagalaglu Hamami. He insisted that its floor plan reflect an ancient Roman belief about physical pleasure. That its highest level can be reached only if one builds up to it somewhat slowly. How did the Romans, and a few centuries later the Turks, do this? The slow build-up consists of 3 definite stages. Oh. First, the apoditarium. Second, the tepidarium. Third, and the most intense of all, the caldarium. The Duke of Windsor came to Kagalaglu Hamami, and over the centuries, many others. Not surprisingly, Franz Liszt was here. Well, he knew a thing or two. He always kept a box of rotting apples on his piano. It helped him to compose better, he said. Built in 1741, Kagalaglu Hamami is not the oldest public bath in Istanbul or the world, but it is unquestionably the most famous. And the most sensuous. Anybody can show you how to find it. Don't be surprised to see the Japanese here, happy in the immense, high-ceilinged rooms and echoing marble hallways. The Japanese know a thing or two about bathing. After you yourself have passed through stage 1, 2, and 3, there is yet one more stage. The Turks invented it. A little something that has become world famous. Perhaps you owe it to yourself. It is the 4th pleasure. It is the amazingly simple, sensuous, Turkish towel. Kagalaglu Hamami towel. The real thing made in Turkey. That is the most description I've ever seen for a towel.
Yeah, that, I had a lot to say about the dense description, but really, there's a line that reminded me of a very insane story from my life.
Oh?
The story's not insane. Someone says something and it made me feel insane.
Okay.
And I'll never forget it. So when I was a teacher in Japan, and when I interviewed for that in Chicago, it was a big group interview, right? Lots of college age, some older as well, but mostly college age kids or just graduated. Doing a group interview to be a teacher in Japan for this company at this big fancy hotel, of course, and suits and such. And there's a break. There's like a meal break, and we do stuff for 2 hours. They give us an hour off, and then we're supposed to reconvene in an hour or whatever. And I, knowing Michigan Avenue a little bit around Chicago, was like, hey, there's this kind of ritzy mall with a food court in it. Do you guys, the little posse that, as posses form in these types of things, my little posse of dudes, you want to go there? Because they're kind of asking, like, oh, does anyone know Chicago? Does anyone know? I was like, oh, we can go to this food court. Then you can get whatever you want, right? So we went and we were eating and we were talking about Japan, ourselves, as you do with new little friend groups that spontaneously form. And chit-chatting and talking about the interview and what we think it's going to be like now that it's more serious in the second half. And he was like, I bet during the one-on-one interview, this guy, I have to describe him, he very much like a cartoon sitcom nerd character to me. I spoke like this and had big glasses and was scrawny and gangly, just a very stereotypical nerd fellow, I guess you could picture in your head. And he's like, and I don't, we were talking about what questions they might ask, but he said, I bet they're going to ask why you want to live in Japan, and people will be giving lots of boring answers. And I'm like, oh, what's this guy going to say? And he's like, I know exactly what I'm going to say to that answer. And it's one thing, I want to live in Japan. It's for the hygiene. Their bathing is just so much more hygienic over there. And I was like, what? And I had studied abroad at this point, right? I had went there. I had lived in a house with a shower and a bath. I bathed myself. It seemed pretty all right. Nothing more or less than I would expect out of any bathing situation in a developed area. And yeah, he went on to explain how hygiene, how their bathing style is just so superior to our very behind. Of course, mentioning bidets.
Right.
He touched all kinds of stuff, dude. All kinds of unmentionable bathing situations. I just was like, you're really going to say that to you?
That's the main reason. Even if it's true, don't say that.
You're going to say that? Just say you like the culture, dude. Say you say you think it's beautiful there.
Don't out yourself as a total weirdo.
Don't feel
you
like
can be a weirdo. That's fine.
I can't wait to bathe there.
The people there seem just remarkably clean compared to here.
Yeah, so that long-winded story is all to say. I guess Japanese people, maybe I'm the one who's wrong. Maybe Japanese people are great at bathing, Olympic-level bathers.
They know a thing or two. Yeah, that was a weird review. I think maybe I or not review, but description. I think maybe
that's why I liked it.
Yeah, I'm not going to say any more about it because I want to get to this last one because I think it's the best.
Right.
This is the embroidered velvet bolero. It is like a jacket. Our heroine in velvet. Seville, Teatro Lope de Vega, opening night of Tosca. I notice her in her seat, stage right, in one of the lower boxes. During the ovation, I have a chance to take in her ensemble. She wears this elaborately embroidered bolero, velvet, black, gold, over a little black dress, to devastating effect. She's not on stage, but her star power is undeniable. I expect we'll see the jacket on our heroine again, in an array of scenarios. Tomorrow morning, perhaps, she took the overnight to Paris, on the Rue Montorgueil with jeans and a white tee, ballet flats, sunglasses, or, my favorite, topping off a long sweeping taffeta skirt, the kind a breeze loves to love. Promenading through the Bois de Boulogne like it's 1911, and there's every chance to end up in a Jacques-Henri Latigue gelatin silver print. She would have. You picture it too, don't you?
I suppose I do.
I think I just like that it... After all that, there's a direct address to the reader.
Hey, you were paying attention when I was saying that sick stuff back there, right?
You see it too, do you not? The taffeta skirt?
Of all the wonderful prose there, I think what gripped me the most was when he was waiting for that opportunity to check her outfit out. He saw this pretty lady. Yeah. He's like, but is the fashion up to par?
Right. She's sitting down. He what a striking face. Let's see when she gets up.
From her perspective, she was standing and clapping for this great play. From his perspective, it was sort of an all-in, show your hands poker type situation. All right, let's see what it's like with all the cards on the table over here.
No more secrets here.
Not only the strange obsession with the outfit, which I guess you would expect from a Peterman writer. That's sort of the whole shtick. But also with the voyeuristic quality, I think it had a little bit more. He saw this girl's jacket and instantly in his mind created like 6 different life scenarios she might wear it.
It is a touch antiquated, that sort of quote unquote admiration from afar.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good way to put it. All the same, her outfits that he paired the jacket with sounded cool. I love a good casual sunglass situation, you know.
Ballet flats, absolutely. I'm like,
sure.
That sounds like a fun girl.
Yeah, sounds like a cute outfit, my guy.
And I just love his description of the taffeta skirt, the kind that a breeze loves to love.
Let's go, dude.
That's why I love Peterman. Because that nonsense. That nonsense on every other page.
It's so amazing that in this day and age, where computers are writing headlines for us so other computers think, oh, that's a good headline, and put it in front of the most people to get the most clicks. Mm-hmm. That's sort of where it's going. It's so refreshing to read or listen to some prose that's just just prose for prose sake,
Yeah,
right?
art
It's
for the sake of art.
self-aggrandizing ridiculousness, just smart words on paper together to make people feel smart and good. As vapid as it may seem, it's like, wow. I haven't heard anything like this in a minute, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for bringing Peterman
Yeah.
back into our lives.
Yeah, it's been a while, so I don't feel as bad that it went long.
No, it was my story.
There's that. Yeah, that was a
My
good
dip
story.
in the story, but yeah, that's a little special treat for everybody. I have the review is normal size, but I think this is treaded territory a bit. We'll get what we need and go. We're experts at this kind of review by now. I have a review here, Matt, my dear Matt, from Amazon for her Alpha Dragon Protector.
Here we go.
Snowhaven Shifters Book 1. Before I read the review, let me send the send the the picture on the cover of the book to Matt to describe for everyone, as is tradition.
Oh man, beefcake. So what we have on the cover of this here book, this man, we touched on this somewhat recently, where the back is so big you can see it from the front. He's got a bit of that going on, but also like his deltoids and traps. Those suckers are like peeking up. Like if he had an angel and devil on his shoulders, you wouldn't be able to see them. They're just covered by muscle.
They have entire what are those sumo wrestler beanbag? Those giant beanbags to drown in.
Down on those things.
Except they're rock hard.
He's got all the abs that you could ever want, and of course
his abs are have mini abs on them that are also shredded.
He is smooth. He is oiled. He has a sick tattoo on his chest, and there is a dragon behind him. Just, it looks like he might have pants on. I can't completely tell. Not the dragon, the man, but it's shrouded in mystery. We're left to question. That's why we open the book.
Yeah, what sticks out to me is this is definitely the most swole and cut, the beefiest cake we've ever had on a shifter
He's a
book
strong
for sure.
Man.
This is a thick dragon. This review is written by Lemeliere. They title it Luke and Rowena. They write, I really enjoyed this first book and what looks like it's going to be a great new series. The author never disappoints, and Luke and Rowena's story is one I didn't want to put down. I was hooked from start to finish. Rowan's a powerful witch, forced to always keep moving to try and avoid being used or killed because of her power. Luke is the alpha of a dragon clan who, when first meeting Rowena, is suspicious of her, but it doesn't take long for his feelings to change. When she is threatened by witches and other shifter, his protective instincts come to fore, and it's necessary for him to protect her and keep her safe. The author has given us some wonderful characters, including her wonderful familiar, a pit bull named Poseidon, as well as most of the people living in the town who, along with Luke, band together and support her. But there's a female dragon who had expected to be Luke's mate and would rather see her gone. I loved everything about this story, the characters, Poseidon, and the romance. I read an advanced reader copy of this book and am voluntarily writing my review 5 stars.
Oh, every time. I don't know how I forget. But as soon as he started reading the review, I'm like, oh yeah, people read this stuff. And meanwhile, I have 30,000 words that I wrote 2 years ago that I need to go back to and continue to write my... It's not even a shifter book. People aren't going to read it. That's probably why.
Yeah, all you got to do when rewrite, you mean add a shifter, shifters.
Add that wrinkle into it.
Right, add the shifter wrinkle. Sorry, you have a main character who means a lot to you, very important to you, very well written. Well, they'd be better if they turn into a freaking sea anemone.
We haven't had dragons before, so that's kind of rad.
That's when I told my partner that I was bringing this one. That's what she said. She said, "Oh, dragons, bring that one. That one's cool."
Yeah. But it strikes me then that that the favorite things in order were characters, the dog, got, and then the romance.
Got like double special mention. This dog, yeah. From reading the other reviews, it sounds he's very much like everyone's an idiot, but him. It seems like he's like a kind and smart like guide.
Okay.
What struck me about this synopsis here is. So she's a witch, and she's supposed to be cool, and everyone wants her power.
She's supposed to be powerful, yes.
But she can't do anything about these people that are coming at her. She's just got to run away.
That same thought. If she's so powerful, just get them or get got.
Yeah, I hope she gets stronger. I hope she gets some dragon magic from banging this hot beefcake or something.
Write that down. That's good.
Let's send that in to the author here, huh? To Brittany White. Yeah, I kind of got that feeling too, though. Looking at this, it's like, man, people are making some money off of this. There's to have how many written reviews does this one have alone? Like 140 reviews. Not very many people statistically write reviews for a product, right?
No.
So if you have a lot of reviews, it's safe to say that like a lot of people bought this bad boy.
And even if it's a review like this one, or it is an advanced copy that's provided for free to someone who reads books and writes reviews, that's still your stuff in someone's hands.
Right.
Which is pretty dang cool.
It's pretty nice. Pretty
for
nice.
a nerd like me.
Well, we should literally write the Review Party Shifter book. We should write a Shifter Morance.
All right.
Don't take that as a contract, but it would be pretty good.
Yeah,
it would be a pretty good book. We would put some steaminess. There'd be some action. I don't think if we wrote a Shifter book, I don't think they knew what hit them. You know what I mean?
I think it'd be half bad. Yeah.
I think these Shifter ladies would be like, now this is the sauce.
And that's what I'm aiming to be. That right there.
Well, sauce bosses, that's reviewparty.com for this week. Episode 130 in the books. Thanks for listening, gang. Mm-hmm. Thanks for making it to the end of the episode. Welcome to the Real Ones Club. Real Ones, look forward to seeing our Shifter book on Amazon Kindle shelves. But more so, I'm more concerned right now with you looking out for new episodes of reviewparty.com every Tuesday. That's right. Hashtag Tuesday Reviews Day. Every Tuesday morning, we got new episodes of this podcast waiting to put your ears on and to be laughed with and or at. As long as the laughs are coming, I'm good, bro.
All good.
Know what else I would like to come? Is reviews from you for anything that's, and the reviews are funny. If you have a funny review to send to us, send it to reviewparty.com @gmail.com. We would love to feature it on the show and just include your name so we can give you proper credit for that.
Guess what, friends and real ones? You can reach out to us on all of the social medias. At reviewparty.com on Instagram and TikTok. At reviewpartypod on Twitter still. And we're on YouTube. Just search reviewparty.com if you need something to put on. Or you can go to reviewparty.com where you can find all the episodes, every single listening platform you've ever heard of and not heard of. The blog, which is always about reviews in some way, shape, or form. The shop, which has some trinkets and goodies that are fun to look at and also to buy. Lots of blue.
Lots of blue?
I recommend the blue.
If you like blue, I got some calls to action for you. That's what they call these stinking things. Why don't you like this podcast? You have a friend who likes comedy podcasts? Tell them about this podcast. That sounds pretty fun.
Yes.
Wherever you listen, are you following, subscribed, favorited, whatever the hell it's called on the platform? And you're listening? You made it this far? That's wild that you're not. Hit that button. You know what it is. Follow, subscribe, favorite. What other words do they use for it? Is that all of them?
Yeah.
Those are every single stinking one. And while you're at it, why don't you leave us a 5-star review? We're the review podcast. Help us get reviews, stars, wherever it may be. iTunes, huge on there. Spotify has them on the app right now. Podchaser is like a very review-based platform. So go crazy. If they're funny, if they're lovely, if they're 5 stars, we'll read them on the air. Sometimes if they're 1 star, we read them on the air too. But we prefer if you, as friend of the podcast, left a 5 star. And last but not least, some dudes who are 5 stars that I know. There's just 3 of them, but altogether they're 5 stars. Their band, The Nosebleeds. Thank you for letting us use your jam or bread for breakfast. You can find more great tunes by those homeboys on Spotify, for example. Just search Nosebleeds. I have a finisher this week. It is not a review necessarily. It is an endorsement of sorts. It is on the internet. It was so funny that I had to feature it. One of those.
Okay.
This is a comment from YouTube on the video Vanessa Carlton, 1,000 Miles.
Ooh.
Yeah, that is one of the best. Listen to me for a second. That is one of the best music videos of all time. Vanessa Carlton, 1,000 Miles music video, that's up there with like Thriller. You don't think so? Go watch it right now. It's amazing. There's no green screen in that shit either. Keep that shit in mind, all right? That girl is just on the back of a truck playing her little heart out.
Yeah.
But anyway, the comment by Prince J from 1 year ago simply reads, "This is a certified hood classic."